Baltimore is probably in the best position it has been in the last 30, 40 years as far as what they've built and what they have still down on the farm in AAA and below.
Look, there's no doubt they've got the best young talent in the sport. They essentially have, in the eyes of executives around the sport, 3 generational talents. You got Adley Rutschman, who right now is considered to be the best catcher in baseball. You got Gunnar Henderson, who, I've been working on this poll of executives asking them who's the best 23 and under player. And Gunnar Henderson is getting a lot of votes. Remember, that's a group that includes Corbin Carroll. It includes Julio Rodriguez. And that tells you a lot about him. Well, who's leading that poll? Jackson Holliday. So you start with those guys. And as they sit here today, one of the cool things is new ownership is coming in. They have so much room to grow with their payroll. And you would assume that when they get to the trade deadline this year, between the surplus position player prospects and the financial flexibility they have, whatever holes they have at the deadline, they can go and get. Like if the Marlins wind up trading Jesus Luzardo, oh my God, I mean, they would probably be in the best position of any team to go make that deal. If they need bullpen help, they can go get that. To me, they're clearly at the moment the best team in the American League. And, we'll see. We'll see how much they learned from last year's postseason. I had Grayson Rodriguez on the podcast that I do the other day, and he talked about that. Like all the Orioles players going through it for the first time, they're watching an experienced team like the Rangers, and they learn from that. And it'll be interesting to see how they handle it when they get back to the postseason this year.
Yeah, for a lot of grief that you get from Orioles fans, you had a lot of compliments saying, hey, this team can be the best in the American League. This is the talented team. Buster, you're all about the birds right now. You mentioned one name real quickly, though. And I know Zach, our other co-host here, has a question specifically because I saw his jaw drop when you mentioned his name.
Yeah, Buster, first off, thanks for joining us. But, man, Jackson Holliday, we talk a lot about guys that are on the Orioles right now and making that impact. A lot of controversy over whether or not Jackson Holliday should have made the team out of camp. And then all they're doing in AAA is dropping 26 runs and 29 hits against Charlotte yesterday. So
and he's hitting 417, and he's hitting 417. He's already got 4 bombs, I think.
Yeah, he's just hitting the cover off the ball. What, in your eyes, was that the right move? And when do you think we will see a Jackson Holliday making his debut?
No, I don't think it was. And call me cynical, but I just have seen in my time covering baseball so many examples of service time manipulation of young players. I'll always think back to the 2015, 16, 17 Cubs. When that group was coming together, we looked at them as being potentially a dynasty. And I'll always believe, and there's no way to really know this, I'll always believe that part of the reason why that team wasn't a dynasty was because the Cubs front office ownership treated it like a business. And they started that with Chris Bryant's service time manipulation, where they kept him in the minor leagues one day beyond the time when they could back up his service time so that they could have an extra year of free agency. And I think it becomes cancerous within a clubhouse. And without getting into other examples that I saw about the Cubs, I think that has an effect on players over time. I mean, you saw the comments from Matt Holliday, his dad, where he talked about, well, this is a business. To me, it makes no sense why any organization would want to, how is it that major league teams in a sport have incentive to hold down their best young players? And as I told you, I mean, I'm an idiot. I don't really know who's best and who isn't. But when you talk to front office people, they look at Jackson Holliday as a superstar player on the rise. Put him in the big leagues. Yes, they have a surplus, but this is potentially an impact player. Get him ready for what's going to come later in the year. Put him in the big leagues. And he's earned it, by the way. He had a great spring training.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the part that rubbed people the wrong way was Mike Elias came out before spring training and said, yeah, there's a really good chance that Jackson makes the team if he plays well. And by a lot of accounts and, by the eye test, he played very well. So I think it was shocking to a lot of people when he ended up getting sent back down.
That's right. And, and the lip service to, he needs more plate appearance against left-handed pitching. What are we talking about? if he's held down a month, an extra 15 plate appearances, 20 plate appearances, it's not going to be that substantial. And here's the other part, and the reason why I know some Oriole fans, because I criticized their ownership for tanking for 4 years, which has been a strategy that the Astros popularized back in early 2010s. The Cubs did it. A bunch of teams have done it. This is not unique to Baltimore. Oakland's doing it right now. They're going to do it for the next 4 years. But throughout that time, there's no acknowledgement that was going on. And that's why when, the words come out along the lines of, well, just believe us, just believe what we say, not what we're doing. I'm just cynical at this point. And I've seen a lot of teams hold down players, and then privately, the front office people go, yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, it's a constant discussion about this, right? And this is something that I know for a lot of Birdland, they were excited about it. And this is the other part. I said this earlier when we talked about it, Buster, was if there's one thing, though, if Jackson Holliday, if they said in their minds that, in my mind, if we're saying the everyday second baseman should be Jackson Holliday, keywords every day. If Jackson Holliday is not going to play every day for you,
right,
then it's not worth his time. If when he comes up, Jackson Holliday needs to be penciled into the lineup every single day. And actually, they're doing a lot for guys like Gunnar Henderson and Jordan Westberg, which they should. These are guys that they love. So I think that's the only part of it. But you're right. His time's coming. He's a superstar. I think everyone sees it.